Hey, everybody. Thank you for being patient while I was waiting on my groceries. It's so cold that our vehicle is not starting.
My groceries.
Oh, shit. So, let's see. Somebody had sent me this, and I'm interested in watching it. So I thought I would watch with you guys. And we've heard about that there was some kind of confession. I think we've heard about this, but I haven't watched this yet. It sounds like something is being something newly released. I did not watch this in advance, so I just figured we watch it together. Yes, we know Litblock can't chat. She had eye surgery, so she might not be able to be around for a little bit until it doesn't put a strain on her eye to be able to chat and stuff. So yeah, she might not be around as much, but maybe she could probably still go live, I'm sure. Hey, Sue, Jessica, and Deb. Dee Dee, I'm glad to see you back, Deb, even after my music I was playing. I have a interesting taste in music. So actually, I like all kinds of music, but that type of the beat gets me pumped up and gets me motivated. Hey, Tina. So I guess also Vinny is going live too, and again on this I think in about an hour. If I thought he was, anyways. So I hear, but
this is absolutely shocking.
Let's just start watching.
This is shocking. This is newly uncovered shocking confession, and it's not the man who was convicted. It's the man whose property the victims were found on.
Oh, are you?
I swear to God.
His name is Ron Logan. He was a person of interest in the beginning. He is someone who was investigating.
Caitlin's freaking out because she's playing with Trisha Payta's sister on Fortnite. How did you do that? I don't know. Anyways, that's cool. She's not listening to me now.
Warrant of his property. He lied about where he was that day. Made up an alibi. Trying to get someone to lie for him about his alibi that day. That is who this new information is about. Ron Logan. Folks, I've got to apologize. I'm a little late. This is insane. My blood sugar crashed just before I was about to go on after a workout this morning. So I may have to stop. I may have to continue to intake glucose, but this is too important. This is too radically shocking.
Okay, let's fast forward.
Confession. It absolutely is. Let me get to the bottom of it. Ron Logan, you know who he is, I think, if you've been following the case today. Ron Logan is someone.
So of course, this Ron Logan now is deceased, and that's what's concerning too about in the Summer Wells case. Everybody's freaking dying. So Ron Logan's deceased now. We've got a man in prison who a lot of people, for some reason, think is not. Still think that he's not involved in that. He's basically like the scapegoat as a way to make sure there's an arrest, because this was a big case. I never went up there to Delphi. It's only like a couple hours away from me. And I always meant to. I mean, I've been there like in the area because a lot of my family is from around that area, like in the vicinity. Galveston. Like my mom went to high school there. That's kind of close. But yeah, someday I was gonna go, and then it just kind of, I got really into the Summer Wells case, and that just kind of took over. So, hey, November Rain,
who spoke at length, and she was on my show last night, Barbara McDonald. She's a Court TV senior producer, and she spoke to this guy for hours and hours and hours. So I asked her, I said, did Ron Logan confess to you? She said, no, never confessed to me. What he said to me was, they can never prove I did it. What? What? They can never prove I did it versus I didn't do it? You see, I didn't do it is in a court of law. That's like saying I'm innocent. They can't prove I did it. That's like not guilty. And there's a difference between not guilty and innocent, right? There's no difference for the purposes of.
So if somebody's going to say, Fred, would you ever say, for instance, like people trying to pull you into the Summer Wells case, and try to accuse you, would you ever say they can never prove I did it? Like, you would just say, if somebody's accusing you, you would say, I didn't do it. I mean, like when somebody's accusing you, you're gonna, your first like response is, I didn't do it. I did not do it. You're not going to say they can't prove that I did it. Now you may say they can't prove that I did it because I didn't do it. Something like that. I could see saying something like that.
Bad,
but not for your answer. Like when somebody asks you if you are involved and you say they can't prove that I am involved. That's very weird.
If you've been accused of a crime. However, they can't prove I did it. Like if someone asked you if you did this and you said, well, they can't prove I did it. What does that mean? What on earth does that mean? That's what this guy said. That's what he said.
Look at Vinny. He got confused too, which way left. I do that too. It's hard. Like, see? Even the best of the best get it wrong. He pointed the other way, thinking it's all backwards on here.
That's what he said to Barbara McDonald, who spoke to him and walked the property with him, etc. She always got a little bit of a strange feeling spending time with this guy. But wow. Okay. So what exactly is this new confession? I'm going to walk through it. Now, it comes from defense papers. But it comes from defense papers based upon digging through all of the tips. So somewhere in this pile of tips that they've been going through, they found this. Okay, so let's take a look. I'm going to walk through this. I can make myself smaller here so we can see this.
Newcastle, Indiana.
Okay. 5/15/2017. That's the first important thing you have to understand.
Ricky Davis.
Okay.
Should we get
5/15 is just a few months after all this, while it's still an unsolved crime, a high profile.
So it looks like he has here some kind of report written up by a law enforcement officer in 2017 in reference to this Delphi homicide. And he wrote that a Ricky Davis that is currently incarcerated at the Newcastle Correctional Facility, this back in 2017, which was Newcastle, Indiana, received a call from him. So they received a call from this guy who's incarcerated, and he was in the same block as Ron Logan, is what it's saying. And it says, owner of the land where the Delphi homicide took place. It says, Gingrich reported Logan is in prison for a parole violation. So Logan confessed to Ricky. Ricky, step by step of killing the two girls. Logan confessed to Ricky, step by step of killing the two girls. Logan told Ricky how he burned his clothes in a fire pit and where it was located, used box cutters and struggled with one of the girls and thought drops of blood from his nose ended up on their clothes. Ricky also advised that he killed the older girl first. Said Ricky wants nothing from this but justice for the girls. Oh, I'm glad that this person did the right thing. Here we are, this is in 2017. Now the guy's freaking dead,
Of crime in Indiana, in Delphi. Ricky Davis, Department of Corrections number 114393. Is currently incarcerated. Okay. So let's start here. Excuse me while I chew. It's just glucose. Again, feeling a little lightheaded. I had juice. I'm just waiting for it to take effect, but I didn't want to delay the live stream even more. Uh-oh. My audio is low quality? Is that better? Is my audio better? People are saying low quality audio. Is the audio better? Is my audio good?
Yeah, I think somebody's messing with you.
How is my audio? People are complaining about the audio.
They're messing with you.
Should I listen myself? Oh my goodness, my microphone. Okay. What's wrong? I gotta get into this whole thing here now. Wait a second. The mic on. Can you hear me now? Sounds great. If it sounds good, everybody give me a thumbs up. Do something here. Yes, better. People are saying it's good. If they can hear me, unaliving the two girls. Logan told Ricky how he burned his clothes in a fire pit and where it was located, used box cutters, struggled with one of the girls, thought drops of blood from his nose ended up on their clothes. Ricky also advised that he, meaning Ron Logan, unalived the older girl first. Lang said Ricky wants nothing from this but justice for the girl.
So now this was taken in 2017. So now with what they know, what we know happened, is this what happened? Was the older girl unalive first? And was there use of a box cutter? God, what a fucking weirdo, dude.
So Ricky's incarcerated, calls someone who then contacts the tip line, okay? So the tip line. So this is like double hearsay at this point. But there's more. There's more to it. So there are actual notes from an actual, I'll make sure I'm in the right spot here. Okay. What you're looking at right now, where is it? Okay. What you're looking at right now is the defense. Again, it's a little bit slow because my head, I got to get the blood sugar back up. The defense transcribed.
Oh my gosh, knew one of their mom's waitress at a bar. So this is the stuff this guy's saying and telling this guy's saying that he was told by Ron Logan. Things like, Ron Logan started talking. So it sounds like, I guess he was saying maybe he started talking to the girls and he thought it was ironic because he thought that they would be in school. It looks like it says, knew one of their mom's waitress at a bar. Animals, walked with him, willing to go check out horses. Plus ew, I don't know what that means. Plus he told them he had rabbits in barn. Walked through trail and woods. Oldest paranoid, didn't want to go. Youngest wanted to see the horses. Which one's the oldest one? I'm guessing the blonde. Abby and Libby. Libby, she the oldest one?
Handwritten notes that were taken from an interview with Ricky Davis, who is the inmate housed with Ron Logan, who says Ron Logan confessed to him. Now, I always say this, take every jailhouse confession with a huge grain of sodium chloride, right? Is that what it is? Sodium chloride? Salt? Huge grain of salt. Why? Because they're always looking for something. Now, this guy said he didn't want anything but justice for the girls. But Scorpion is saying you can't hear me. What's going on here? Some people are saying the defense just filed a motion to preserve the evidence. They want evidence preserved in this case. What they're saying is that Ron Logan confessed to another inmate. Jailhouse confessions. Should we trust jailhouse confessions, right? That's what this is all about, right? So this is a jailhouse confession from Ron Logan. Okay.
Right.
So I might have the wrong mic. Is this the mic that's on? Boom, boom, boom. Is that the mic that is providing the feed here? It's a little muffled. You got to turn it up today. I don't think I can fix it at this point. I don't think I can fix it. I don't know what happened. All right. So this is the microphone. Okay. So this microphone.
People complain about the silliest things. Like, I guess his audio is not completely crisp, but you can totally tell what he's saying, and I just don't. Anyways,
the phone's not working right now. That's maddening to me.
So he got the girls. It sounds like he's Ron Logan. It looks like he's trying to say he tricked the girls by wanting to show them, by saying he had rabbits that he was going to show them in a barn and wanted to go check out the horses. So he tricked them with animals and also tricked them, it looked like, by knowing one of their moms. So that's probably how he got his foot in with them in some way. I don't.
As to why that would happen.
If he really is involved.
Fix that? I might be able to fix that.
I think he was the number one suspect. I mean, I know he was. He was the focused on from. Everybody was very suspicious of this dude.
Back? You can hear me now? Better? Yes. We're talking about jailhouse confession. But don't forget, Richard Allen was convicted on a jailhouse confession. So if you're going to give that confession some weight, let's take a look at this jailhouse confession as well by Ron Logan. Just months after is when this is reported. This is May of 2015. So we're looking at transcribed notes, transcribed by the defense.
Thank you for the Cash App. Somebody just sent me a for past reading I did. Oh, maybe this is the one that. That's nice of them. Thank you for the Cash App. That might be the Sherry that. Okay. That is really nice. Thank you. Does that work with the video of them being sent down the hill, though, right? Right. Well, let's continue and see what Vinny said.
It was cursive, so it was difficult to really decipher, but they deciphered it, okay? All right. They claim that he started talking, that it was ironic, and that they should have been in school. Ron Logan says to one of the girls that he knew one of their moms who waitressed at a bar. I don't know, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, was talking about animals, walked with them, and they were willing to go check out the horses. Ron Logan owns horses in a barn. He told them he also had rabbits in the barn and that they walked through the trail in the woods.
What do they mean by plus he XXX? Animals walked with him willing to go check out horses plus XXX. Plus he blank, blank, blank. XXX.
The oldest, or at least who appeared the oldest.
Oh, thank you, Blue Willow. Appreciate that. I can't even really remember. I mean, I know I feel like I've done a reading for you before, but I completely forgot. So that was just nice of you to send that, nice surprise. I appreciate that.
Oldest to Ron Logan didn't want to go, was paranoid. The youngest wanted to see the horses. So this is what's being described in this alleged confession by the other inmate.
Eve.
The oldest turned to help the youngest. The oldest started looking and kicking. The youngest seemed, now he grabs the oldest. He said he got hit on the nose and he got blood on one of the girls. So the girls are fighting back. He pulled out a box cutter.
Oldest turned to help the youngest.
Box cutter. This is in 2017. In 2017, nobody even knows how they died. None of that was public.
Right.
Let alone the instrument.
We got to keep remembering. We got to keep remembering this is 2017. That's what I'm saying. Why? If he said this shit, why did he never go? I don't understand. You guys, it just makes me so mad. Thank you, this stuff, because it makes me think of Summer Wells, which I'm deeply invested in, obviously. But obviously, this, just pisses me off for the justice for Abby and Libby. And also for possibly, this a person that could be in prison that may not even be involved. I don't know. There's a lot of people that don't believe he is. Are they freaking railroading this dude because he's mentally, he's not mentally well enough to really fight against them? I don't know. People freaking do some shady shit, even law enforcement. Anybody, human as a human, all humans are capable of the same stuff, no matter their profession.
The testimony of the expert from the prosecution at the trial was that it was a box cutter. And then there was testimony that Richard Allen had a whole bunch of box cutters. Well, before that, you've got an inmate saying that Ron Logan said he used a box cutter. And this is back in 2017. That's the significance of this. The instrument that was used and how they died. Nobody knew how they died. This was not public information. So either Ron Logan is confessing or this inmate is making this up and guessed right on the instrument that was used and how the girls were taken.
Or
they also said he took the little girl with him for a while, never said where. He said he cut her, both necks. Okay? This is either a guess by the inmate who is making this up to try to get some deal for whatever reason, or Ron Logan is telling him this information. It continues. He left again, came back later in the evening while the search was going on. Later on, late hours, tried to move the oldest one to the area where he's not going to be found.
What?
Place where four-wheelers go. Burned his clothes in a burn pile. Hiking, walking, boots, gloves, bag. Okay.
Hiking, walking boots, gloves, bag, burned his clothes. Well, this seems the way this story is going. It's a one-person operation.
So now, let's examine this. All of this stuff could be either
really, Amy,
corroborated or disproved. All of it. That's all from these notes in this confession. So this is pretty significant evidence. It's evidence the jury didn't hear. It's evidence the jury was not permitted to hear. They weren't permitted to hear anything about Ron Logan. So how much of a problem is that? Is that fair? Now, let me just say, and I want this to be very clear. I've been saying this the whole time. I have no opinion on who committed this crime because I didn't see the trial because the judge banned cameras and microphones from the courtroom, despite the fact that Indiana changed the law to allow cameras and microphones inside of the courtroom. But this judge chose not to allow. It also chose to not allow electronics inside the courtroom. So the only thing you can get the transcripts now. But let me tell you, transcripts are much different than watching a trial. Much different.
I don't know. They might.
I can't see and hear the evidence. I can't come up with an opinion based upon what's inside the court. I just know the things that have been excluded. And number one, I'm shocked that they were. Shocked. And now you get into this confession. Well, what makes this confession less credible than the confession of Richard Allen? Now remember, Richard Allen, before he was incarcerated, denied all of it, right? So he didn't confess on the outside. He confessed. It's a jailhouse confession. So now we got to weigh the jailhouse confessions, but the jury only gets to hear one. Only gets to hear about one person's alleged confession versus someone else's alleged confession.
So there was a school shooting today.
I'm not opining on this, on who did.
I didn't, which is off topic, but in Antioch, Tennessee, 3 people have been wounded, including the suspect who shot himself. Antioch, that's where Jelly Roll is from, right? Let me see. How medical examiner assumed the weapon was a box cutter. Yeah. Right, Crazy Mom? What are we going to find out years later in Summer Wells? Are we going to hear a confession years later that Don Wells had done that we never, you know what I mean?
Did it because I haven't seen all the evidence, but this is evidence that a jury at a minimum should know about in deciding a case. Let's talk about what's important about coming back later in the evening. Again, from prosecution or investigators' evidence, to execute a search warrant of Ron Logan's property, they had to file an affidavit, a sworn statement. And one of the sworn statements was that Ron Logan at 10:16 that night, his phone was out on the property near where the girls were found.
That's
at
great.
10:16. So in this alleged confession, Ron Logan, according to this inmate, is saying that he came back later in the night and his phone was there later in the night. Right? Like, is that something the jury should hear? Because let me tell you, if they had charged Ron Logan in this case, all of this would be admissible. They didn't charge Ron Logan. They can't charge Ron Logan because Ron Logan is no longer alive.
Mm. Yeah, just like what's going to happen in Summer Wells, everybody's going to be dead before we get a freaking conviction.
This is evidence. This is evidence in a case. How much weight you give it? Well, that's depends upon the jury.
I don't know why it keeps doing that blinking. You guys keep seeing that blinking? It's doing it on my end too. I don't know why it's doing that.
Burn pile. The next morning, 2 other girls knocked on his door to ask to search the property. He felt weird if he said no. He let them take off. Got a hold of a family member and got out of the area. These are what the notes say. These are the notes by the investigator.
Wow.
Interviewing.
So he said, so supposedly Ron Logan told this guy that the soles of his boots would be in the burn pile. Wow. Okay. Says the next morning, 2 other girls knocked on door, asked to search property. He said feel weird if he said no, so he let them take off. And then that's when he got a hold of a family member and got out of the area. Yeah, because remember he had told that fake, he had a fake alibi too. Do you remember that?
The man who allegedly Ron Logan confessed to. Let's see what else comes from those notes. Head, neck artery, happened to friend to stand there during the struggle. Youngest girls talk about a struggle. First time he's seen them from the property. It's hard to make out exactly with these notes, but you get. Okay, this is another piece of evidence on another issue that I'll get to right now because I want to get to your comments as well today. This is screenshots of a video with a timestamp on it. Okay, the timestamp was off by 12 hours. AM, PM, PM, AM, but it's clearly not 2:44 AM. But this is 2:44 in the afternoon on the day that these girls were taken from the circuit. The prosecutor was extremely clear from the information I've gotten from the courtroom that the TOD, time of death.
So wait, what's he saying about
on the day that these girls were taken? AM, PM, PM, AM, but it's clearly not 2:44 AM. But this is 2:44 in the afternoon on the day that these girls were taken from the circuit. The prosecutor was extremely clear from.
So is he saying 2:44 this exact screen time? And he's got something circled on there, but is this supposedly the exact time of when the incident happened? I thought it was.
From the information I've gotten from the courtroom, that the TOD, time of death, 2:30. 2:32, last activity on the phone. The phone stops moving. That's the time. The prosecutor was very specific in his
2:32
argument and in his timeline of this case. And he said that Richard Allen was going to essay the girls, but was interrupted because there was a white van driven by Brad Weber coming back from work. And because of that van, then he moved somewhere else. So that van would have interrupted him sometime before 2:32. But now there is video. Again, that was part of the discovery of what appears to be a white van on its way to the area at 2:44.
Wow.
At 2:44. So this is after.
So circled. We can't see it, but I guess what's circled is this white van. they have it on surveillance, so they have it circled. They found it. They found the white van. Okay.
Prosecutors say they're gone, but this is the van that, according to the prosecution timeline, arrived earlier and interrupted the essay. Now, the timestamp could be wrong. I guess I didn't calibrate it. But the timestamp and the red circle shows where I'm going to show you the video, but it's hard to see anything. They did a nice job in the papers they filed here circling it so you kind of get an idea of where it is and you get an idea of the time. And then they zoom in on it and you can see, is it a white Econoline van? Okay, I'll make it bigger. Does that look like a white Econoline van?
Yeah.
It does to me. It does to me. On the left side is the back.
Yeah, you can't see it at first. If you
kind of see
once you focus, you could definitely tell that that's like definitely a white van, like one of those bigger white vans.
Windows, and then underneath you can see it's white. Obviously, very pixelated, zoomed in, etc.
Yes.
But
no pizza.
This would blow up the prosecutor's timeline that he argued to the jury. Now, if the timeline is wrong, does that mean that this is a not guilty? No. No, but his timeline's wrong. The argument he made to the jury is wrong. So the facts are off. I mean, you can't dispute that if this video is correct. If the timestamp is correct on this video at 2:44, that means what the prosecutor argued to the jury was not true. That Brad Weber in his white Econoline van interrupted the essay before 2:30. Be impossible based upon this video. But you have to accept the video. Do you? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But prosecutors have put that in. And have filed their papers to preserve the evidence, and obviously they're going to fight for a new trial, and they want all this to be part of the new trial. Because they say this is evidence.
I'm muted. Dang it. I was talking about, Bridge Guy and Ron Logan. They definitely look alike. So Bridge Guy's photo was not allowed in evidence. Okay. Yeah, it's horrible injustice if that is what happened. Horrible. And just can't even imagine being in a situation where you're unlawfully imprisoned for such a heinous act, but I'm not saying that Richard Allen, I didn't follow the Richard Allen thing very much. I think it didn't seem right to me. It didn't seem this random guy, that nobody had heard of, it just didn't really make sense after people had been scouring and looking over the case for years. And then here's this rando that they want to say that did it. I don't know.
This video does not fit the prosecutor's timeline. To me, that's problematic. Remember what I always say about the prosecution. Their obligation is to one thing and one thing only: the truth. The only way you get justice is through the truth. Truth and justice. Truth is justice. Justice is truth. It's the only job that a prosecutor.
Look at Vinny's his cleaning lady in the background. Hold on. Do you guys see that? His maid is in the background cleaning. Look.
Prosecutor has is to get to the truth. That's when you get justice. But that argument is not the truth. That argument is not the truth. Take a closer look at this. I'm going to try to zoom in. I don't know if I can zoom in. If this is at 2:44, it's after 2:32, the entire timeline is off. So now you are not arguing the truth to the jury. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. You can't do that. That's not your job. All right, now let me show you the video. I'll keep this up because I have the video. The video is.
Oh, you're thinking that
here it is. This is the raw video. You got to look to the top left and look for a little speckle driving by, so you can see how much it's been zoomed in. I mean, you really got to look to that top left. There it goes. You see the little speckle moving? That's it. It's tiny. It's small.
Can you point to what we're supposed to be? I don't see it.
You see the time, 2:44. Now I'm going to zoom in on this video so you can take another look at it, but let's zoom in. I'm going to zoom in here.
Okay, we're waiting. I'm waiting. Let's zoom.
There we go. Let me back it up just a little bit. Back it up. Back. All right.
We probably have to have this actual video.
Take a look. It's going to be zoomed in and look for the speckle again.
Ah, shit, I'm sorry.
From left to right.
Okay, left to right, where? I don't see anything. But I think we need the video or
so. Right, there she goes. There goes the van.
Oh, I see it. I see it. I see it. I see it. Here.
Look.
It's going behind the black thing now. Here, I'll tell you when it's past the black thing. Okay, I'll tell you when to look.
It's behind the trees now. More difficult to see.
Well, yeah, I can't. It's behind the trees.
Yeah,
I can get moving in the trees like that.
Are you watching? I can see it.
I think it's back there.
Still moving. And now I'm losing it. Now I'm losing it. All right, I'm going to zoom in even more. Do one more zoom for you.
Can you guys see my
pointer? More. This is surveillance video from a home. Prosecutors had this since the beginning. Buried in the discovery. Let me see if I can zoom this. I think I do one more zoom. Oh, here it is. This is the ultimate zoom.
The ultimate zoom.
Here we go. This is the ultimate zoom.
All right, here we go.
Let's see if we see it.
Hey,
coming up
Valerie, did you get my message?
I see movement.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. There it is.
There goes the van.
It's behind something right now.
Goes.
I don't see it right now.
The clearest image is what the defense had. They had time to go through this piece by piece. So if the timestamp is right and accurate, and this is
don't strain your eyes.
Weber coming home from work at 2:44. Don't forget, his phone is pinging at 2:50. His phone is pinging at 2:50. Oh, I zoomed it even more. One more zoom. Let's see what we can see here. One more zoom. There you can see some movement. There it goes. Now you really got to peel your eyes. I want to go. I'll go back to their pictures. I mean, their images to me are the clearest here. Which is right. Let me find it. There we have it. I'm trying to get back to that point right here. So they have it circled. They have it circled, and then here it is. That's the best you're going to get.
I can see it here easily right there.
That's the best you're going to get. Right there. That's the best you're going to get.
But
it's white. I mean, to me, it's white.
That's definitely
a window shaping of a van in the back and on the side. So
it has above one of those big white vans, like one of the big
that's a
ones.
problem. That's a problem. You can't make an argument that's not true. In what world do we make arguments that aren't true? Makes no sense. No sense. So you've got a jailhouse confession. Take it with a grain of salt, just like you take.
See, that's disturbing, though, that's not true, because they had this evidence. Prosecutors did, too. So they would have known this. Unless they didn't do really research the case, didn't do their homework, I don't know how they wouldn't have known this, so they would have had a straight up lie during their argument. I mean, this has been known since 2017.
His jailhouse confessions with a grain of salt. Right? Those things are just different.
Somebody's going to get in trouble if they did set something up. A lot of people will get in trouble.
Let's go back to it. Currently incarcerated at the Newcastle Correctional Facility, received a call from Davis advising he is in the same block as Ron Logan, owner of the.
Congratulations on getting into your program, or into your whatever, a program, I guess I'll say, or your schooling. Isn't it some kind of like that you have to test in order to get into? So congratulations. That's so awesome. That is amazing. Seriously. Awesome.
Land.
Yeah. Okay. Into a university.
Don't forget about that connection, that nexus. This isn't at a left field. This guy owns the vast private property where Abby and Libby were found.
Is it a master or
Logan confessed to a step-by-step. And to me, the things that jump out is the box cutters, right? The box cutters. That's either a great guess by this inmate who's looking for something, or it's an actual confession by a man who is no longer alive to defend himself. And I will remind you one more time, Barbara McDonald, Court TV senior producer, spent a lot of time with Ron Logan when she was covering and investigating this case. Long conversations, and never once did he deny doing it. He never confessed to it. But what he said was, they can't prove it.
Yeah, like
he didn't say I didn't do it. He said they can't prove it. And that's where we are in all of this. And that's why we're talking about Delphi, despite the fact that there was a trial, a conviction, and a sentencing. Okay? So there was all of this, but despite the fact that there was all of this,
Valerie just messaged and said, and there's she just got an evacuation warning out in California. There's a fire in Santa Clarita that's is like getting close to her. And so she just got an evacuation warning. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. Oh my God.
And to me, that's a significant part of this. Providing information that is not public information. Now, obviously, this is a big story locally, and Logan may have been talking about it. And maybe he talked about just a piece of it, and then this person took it and added some information. Possible. I get it. It's very possible. All right. We get to here. Let's get to here. And we got a comment here from the ugly doctor. The correction is the box cutter part. At trial, expert mentioned box cutter for the first time, and so did Logan's confession. That's my understanding, right? So, yeah. His confession and the expert. It's ugly. It's ugly. And there are issues in the way this case was handled.
Box cutter didn't even come into play or even known until trial. So the fact that we have a confession from 2017 that gives details of what was used, the weapon that was used, and it's so specific, like a box cutter, like that's not something that you know, most people wouldn't think a box cutter as a weapon to unalive somebody, you know? No, that's just not like, for somebody to make that up, that just doesn't seem very possible, you know? Like, who would think up a box cutter as a weapon of all things, you know? Wouldn't you think more like a pocket knife or something, like one of those switchblade, or not a switchblade because those, but like a hunting knife or something? Or guys always carry those freaking knives on them. A lot of guys do. So that would be seem more possible. So I also, let's see. Hey, Crime Creepy. Yeah, box cutter controlled 2 people. Well, it sounds from this confession like it wasn't planned. Like he didn't know that Ron Logan, the way this confession looks is that he didn't know the girls were going to be out there, that he just ran into them. That was the first time he had seen them out there, and that he knew one of their mothers, and he tricked them with, you know, by wanting to show them some bunnies or rabbits and horses. That's just horrible. Like, that's so, I mean, because I think of that and I think of my daughter, how much she loves horses and how obsessed with horses she was growing up. And, you know, something like that would have probably, you know, she probably would have gone, you know, when I think of it, or, you know, she maybe as much as she loved horses, you know, so it's just sad. It's really sad.
Talked about from the beginning, things I've never seen in any other case, like a judge trying to remove a defendant's counsel of choice. Why would you do that? That's like, I'm trying to protect you. This is the lawyer I want, right? That's kind of what the Constitution provides. And she tried to take him away. And they had to go to an appellate court to get reinstated on the case. I've never seen that before. That raised a lot of red flags with me. again, I haven't seen the evidence against Richard Allen. I've heard about it. Some of it's seemingly very compelling, the confessions. I haven't seen or heard any of them. Why? Well, we were all banned from the courtroom. You had to be in
Yeah, so
Indiana.
that's shady as hell. That's shady as hell. Like, we can't see any of the evidence of against Richard Allen. We're supposed to just like believe that these people have, that doesn't seem right at all. It doesn't seem right. That's a way that people, there's certain things that are put in place in order to prevent this type of stuff, corruption and law enforcement. Same thing. This reminds me similar of, Brandon Lawson, Ronnie Lawson's son from the Summer Wells case, and how that shit went down and how secretive that was. Like, no, things are supposed to be public for a reason so that there's not shady crap going on behind the scenes. I don't like that when they start like hiding things.
Getting online to get those few seats. And obviously, I had Barbara McDonald from Court TV was there providing all the information, but I didn't personally see it. So how can I have a strong opinion one way or the other? What I can have an opinion on is things that were excluded that normally would not be excluded, and questioning why are they excluded.
Yeah. And see, prosecutors and judges all hang out, So does court-appointed attorneys for defense, they all are buddies and go golfing on Sundays together. And so who knows what kind of things are going on and agreements and secret shit.
Okay. A lot of
right, Holler Girl?
Comments on this, obviously. And I apologize for ambient noise and the wrong microphone working, like this one's not working and that one is working. We'll have it fixed for next time. This was just too important. I couldn't stop. Low blood sugar seems to have stabilized itself. Let me check. I think I'm thinking more clearly now. Am I thinking more clearly or am I imagining it? 1 second. Yeah. I'm back where I should be. Okay. And Ron Logan is dead.
Yep. And I'll talk about the case on the golf course. I'm going to go get a drink real quick, guys.
To me, we did this on Vinnie Politan Investigates last night.
Sure. Thank you.
And my head's exploding. And there is evidence that makes Richard Allen look really guilty, like really guilty.
Yeah, I like Vinny too because he seems
the timeline stuff.
He seems real. I don't know. You know what I mean? He doesn't seem too I'm trying to think of the word, too corrupted by the media, or he seems to have a backbone, I guess I should say, where he will speak his opinion.
Some of his alleged statements. But I want to see and hear it. I wanted to see and hear it so I could weigh it myself. Like, what did those confessions sound like? What was the context of those confessions? And it just makes me suspicious when we don't hear the whole story. And things that normally come in most of the trials, most of the jurisdictions that I cover around the country for years and years and years on Court TV, I've seen defense finger at people And I'm like, why are you pointing the finger over there? There's like no evidence. And here, there is evidence. And this is evidence that was gathered not by the defense, but by the task force.
What was it? Did they mess up so bad on Richard Allen? Or did they mess up so freaking bad on this Ron Logan, I mean, that they were like, shit, now he's dead. And we'll never have any type of justice for them, and the public's going to be pissed. Because for years, a lot of people were pointing at Ron Logan. So did they set somebody up because they didn't want to look bad, or what? I don't understand. Because it does seem like, when was it that Ron Logan passed away? It does seem like it was right around the time that Ron Logan passed away that all this stuff was coming out. Like, suddenly there was like an arrest and stuff, you know? Hope they're going to overturn this conviction if the dude is. Yeah, that's what scares me about Summerwell's case. Like, and what scares me about Summerwell's case is same type of shit. Like, them just trying to get a confession just to get it over with, you know? I worry about that.
Was investigating this case. Spaghetti Lee. Love the picture, by the way. The FBI liked Logan for the crime. Yeah, there were people who were looking at Ron Logan. There were people that were looking at the Odinist. I don't know if there's any crossover between Ron Logan and Odinist. I have no idea. And then Richard Allen sort of came out of the blue. But Richard Allen, he puts himself there.
Yeah. Ron Logan is the one that has the property that was by the bridge, Val. Yes. The guy that's dead is the one that had whose property was right where all this stuff happened. I don't know if it was on his property, but it was definitely right next to it.
Like, it's Richard Allen's own words that convicted him for the most part. Putting himself there and the timing of when he put himself there. I found that compelling because he came forward when the picture of Bridge Guy became public. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I was there, you know, and providing that information. Now, if he never came forward, would he have ever been charged, tried? Would someone else have been charged? This is the way I think about it. I'm like,
is that how Richard Allen got brought into this? Is Richard Allen? So that's how he got brought into this. He's the one that I know he confessed, but is it what the bridge picture? I thought that was released very early on. Bridge Guy was released very early on. They didn't get an arrest for Richard Allen until like a year, like somewhat more recently. Not early on in the case, so.
Did not put himself there that day.
Right. Would he even have been?
Would he have been charged? Likely not. I mean, he put himself there and it took him 5 years to figure this out, according to their theory. So I don't think he ever would have been charged. Would someone else have been charged? Was there pressure to charge someone?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And what if you charge the guy who's dead?
Yep.
Like, that's actually the easiest way out, right? There's pressure to solve the case. You solve the case, and someone who's dead can't defend himself. You say, yeah, it's closed. This is the guy. And then you're done. That may have been easier for him, but they didn't do that. And did they not do that because they didn't believe Ron Logan did it? I guess.
Right. Me and Vinny were thinking the same here. Thinking the same. Most definitely there was pressure. Look how crazy Richard Allen acted after. I believe his confession was under duress, like interrogated for hours upon hours till he broke down. Yeah, because there was so much pressure to solve this case. I mean, it was big. Delphi case was huge. It is. It's just, it was, the attention on it was bigger than even, it was bigger in Summer Wells for sure, but there was a lot of pressure.
This is the reason you have cameras and microphones in the courtroom, because now I'm talking like this. Like
right?
When I saw the trial and I was convinced and there was evidence, like, oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Now I get it. But I can't get it because I didn't see it and I didn't hear it. This case, and there's others, but there's certain cases where transparency is needed.
Yep.
And the judge's perspective on this was backwards, because all these people have been talking about the case, had theories about the case for years. And now someone's being tried and she doesn't want to add to all of this conspiracy. So I'm going to shut the cameras and the microphones out of the courtroom.
Right.
You just amplified it. Mm-hmm. Like I said, Richard Allen may very well be guilty. I didn't see the trial. Did you?
Sure as hell did not, Vinny. I didn't see, also, I didn't see anything about Brandon Lawson's trial either. Let's see. What is this? A Ron Logan murder.
Chilling image of the killer approaching the girls.
I remember him from the Inside Edition.
This is okay. The woman
shot this.
So the woman talking in this video here, let me pull it up real quick on here because I think it looks interesting. While I'm pulling it up, I'll play Vinny.
I usually go all the way back to the beginning, but I've been ranting so long that I can't go back to the beginning of all the comments. But I'm going to probably go to the more current ones. And I apologize if I missed your great comment. But there's a great conversation, and there has been from the beginning of this case. But the conversation is based upon bits and pieces of the story, bits and pieces of the evidence, because of gag orders, because of sealing things, because of no electronics in the courtroom, no cameras in the courtroom. All of this makes it much more difficult to have any sense of trust in the result. Okay? Sleuthy Goosey.
Okay, so yeah, this is a good time. Would be a good time to show this. This is Ron Logan's, the guy who's deceased, who was the main suspect in the Delphi case, who ended up now has passed away. This is an ex of his. I haven't seen this, I don't think. So let's see. She says exclusive. It says exclusive interview. She says, my ex could have done it.
Remember him from the Inside Edition.
Liberty German shot this chilling image of the killer approaching the girls on a hiking trail, and she recorded the killer's voice.
What do you hear on there?
Nothing that I recognize at all. No one. I don't recognize the voice at all.
Wow. That's your voice. And I heard that voice down the hill. Thousands of times. It's Ron Logan saying, down the hill. And I called the tip line.
Joining me now, News Nation senior national correspondent Brian Enton. So Connie Dillman seems so confident about this. Like, what else makes her think that it's her ex-boyfriend who's the killer?
Yeah, this was a big moment tonight, actually. We've never heard from Connie Dillman before. This is all brand new. So this is something we've never heard before. And let's also not forget in all this that Ron Logan is dead, by the way, for people who are following along. He died of COVID. But she basically says that he is a bad man, that he is a violent man, that she thinks that he did it, that he was violent with her in the past. And as you heard in that clip, that when she heard that voice, she thought right away that it was Ron Logan. Listen to a little more of what she said for the first time tonight about what kind of man this is.
Ron's property was right next to Monon High Bridge. He had some pasture, he had some goats and no horses. I moved in with him for a while, and it didn't really work out very well. He was controlling with me. Had to keep the house tidy and couldn't lay down on the couch. It just had to be the way he wanted it. But he wanted me there. It goes a little bit further than me in his life. I've pretty much a sex tool. Can we stop? Can we?
Yeah, we can stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's so sad.
I don't know where that came from.
That's sad.
When I didn't want to have sex, he forced it on me. And I was helpless. You know, I couldn't help myself. And when I did get away, he would always draw me back. One day, he had been working on putting a new door on the basement cellar, and I said I wanted to break it off with him. And out of the blue, he hit me over the head with the crescent wrench. And I remember taking off, running to my vehicle, and I remember falling to the ground. And I was afraid he was going to hit me again. So I was able to get on my hands and knees, and I crawled away. I got to my vehicle, and I was able to leave, and then I felt the blood running down my face. I barely remember the drive to the doctor's office, which is only a few miles to Delphi, and had 7 steeples put in my head. But I actually went to my sister's after that. I'm lucky I got out of that situation, but it took a long time.
It really is stunning to hear her tell that story for the first time. She's obviously very emotional. And again, she feels confident, Connie does, that the wrong guy may be locked up, which is pretty startling to think about.
Not only that, but Ron Logan had kind of a weird alibi. And from what I remember 7 years ago, it didn't really check out.
So weird. So he claimed to police that he was going to a town outside of Delphi to buy tropical fish, and that he was with his cousin. But we later come to find out that when they looked into this, they talked to the cousin. The cousin didn't back that up. They were never able to clear that alibi, to figure out if it was true or not. And even to this day, it seems like he lied about where he went.
Pretty specific when you're mentioning tropical fish, and easy to track that. But this is a small community, and they're not used to having double homicides, especially with kids. So, I mean, I've seen it happen. All right. So, what about the property? Like, they did look at his property. They actually did investigate, but I feel like it might have been a long lag.
They did, but it was a month after the murders. So think about it. A month has gone by. There's so much that could have been done out there at that property in that time. A month.
A month is a long time for anything.
Right.
I mean, even the weather can take.
I mean, there were a lot of mistakes with this investigation, a lot of issues, and this just seems like it was another one.
But thank you for watching.
Man, yeah. I don't that lady is very, very believable. That's really sad and horrible. And I absolutely believe her.
Tonight's episode will be available for us to watch. Usually, yes. Usually, Court TV YouTube has it. It also could pop up on courttv.com, but I don't know if anyone ever looked to see if there was a connection between the two.
Right? Is there a connection between Ron Logan and Richard Allen? That's the only way that I could probably see. Maybe they're, I mean, maybe are they buddies? I suppose, like, maybe Ron Logan brought Richard Allen in somehow. I don't know. Everybody's guess is as good as mine, because from what it sounds like, they didn't put out any, it doesn't sound like they put anything out on Richard Allen.
Now, there's some things they can talk about. There's some things they can't talk about because they have active litigation going on and because of the orders. But they were pretty straightforward. And one thing that has really bothered the defense is the delay in having to fight for discovery. And every time they were delayed in getting something, it was always something that would help them. And that's called potentially Brady material, exculpatory material the defense believes demonstrates lack of guilt or innocence, right? And they felt like some of this stuff was being hidden from them and not handed over until they absolutely had to hand it over. And they were really troubled by this. And right. I'll be honest with you, I was a prosecutor. You are supposed to hand over everything. Here it is. That's the way we did in New Jersey. They got everything. They get it all. And if there's exculpatory material or potentially, it doesn't have to be per se exculpatory. If it's potentially exculpatory, you've got to give it to them. And you can't delay in giving it to them either. But what the defense is alleging is that it wasn't until the prosecution was cornered in a position where there's no way they couldn't give it up. And that's when they would give it up. They would delay it by months and months and months and months. And why are they doing that? Why are they delaying in handing over discoverable material that they are supposed to provide to the other side? Why are they doing that?
What we got here?
Pose. Here, let me get rid of myself too. Had him pose like the bridge guy. And he actually did it. Like he did it. I don't know if they paid. I don't think they paid him, but is this the same guy? Because this is Ron Logan on the right. This is Bridge Guy on the left. Now, there's two things to this about Bridge Guy.
It totally could be him. They look
and I think this is up
the same.
Some sort of a debate as well. Is it 100% that Bridge Guy equals?
It even looks like the same hat.
Person who did it. Does Bridge Guy equal the person who did it?
Not necessarily, I guess.
I think that's an important question, because that's the analysis that's done here in this case, is that Richard Allen is the bridge guy. The bridge guy is the guy who did it. Therefore, Richard Allen is the guy who did it.
They look identical, guys. Like, I know I've had to see that picture on the right before, because I think I remember seeing this comparison, because I was like, oh my God, it's freaking same. Like, even if you look at the details of the face, like how his lips are, like you could tell, like on the lips on this guy, even though it's hard to see, you just can tell it's like the same. is just like, they're like twins. The build is exactly the same. Look how the skinny legs, like how skinny the hips are on both of them. Like same size for sure. Of course, I mean, there is the fluffy jacket is on both of them. It's going to make their bottom half look maybe skinnier. I don't know, but it looks the same.
Is it possible that it's not Bridge Guy who did it? Of course, anything's possible. Was the picture that was taken, was it purposely taken of the guy on the bridge? Or was the guy on the bridge just in the background of another picture that was being taken? I don't know. I wasn't in the courtroom. I didn't see it. And it hasn't been made public. All we have is this blow up image that was released. So was this purposely taken? Or was he in the background at the time and they happened to see him? Because when he says down the hill and we play that video, those are from two different times, right? So the down the hill is an audio recording. The video is pretty quick. It's just a few frames. That's why it looks like he has a gate. I'm not sure if he even has a gate. It's just the way the video is looping. But they're not at the same time. So he's not walking and saying down the hill. He's saying down the hill when he's closer to them. But is that the bridge guy? I don't know. They wouldn't show us the evidence. They haven't released the evidence in a public trial. Hasn't been done.
Hey, Candalee.
So to me, that's an Indiana problem.
Yeah, I remember seeing I don't know if it's that.
This is JMD following the verdict.
It was
Brown's reaction body language equated to shock and potential innocence. Just my opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. The jurors have opinions. And their opinion was he was guilty based on what they heard. I'm not sure what they didn't hear. Gen X, this is not the place to smear other creators. We do not do that. We appreciate the true crime community. All has their own perspective, their own approach, and how they shine a light on and cover these cases. And you don't have to agree with their analysis. And you don't have to watch their streams. You can choose who you want. It's like television, right? You don't like my show, you put on.
Come on my panel. He probably would have back in the day when I was getting views, but he was on he went on Molly's. Who's this lady?
You are the spawn of Satan. And the Satan is Billy Wagner. You are the evilest mother to help plan, carry out, and take the lives of 3 other mothers. My daughter was only 20, and you want 30 years of your life behind bars. 30? She was 20! 20! She never even got to try alcohol.
I need to watch this video. You need to watch this video. We all do. All of us in the true crime community always have to keep in mind the incredible impact that cannot be measured, that cannot be understood unless you actually go through it. But I think this video gets as close as you can get to fully realizing and understanding what happens to a mother when she loses her child to violence. This is from the Pike County case in Ohio. An entire family wiped out by another family. That family was caught. They were prosecuted. They are being sentenced. And thank goodness, this judge is permitting victim impact statements so she can explain to the judge, explain to the defendants, and explain to the world what happened.
Frankie, Roland, and Hazel Gillian, let alone your granddaughter's mother. How greedy of a grandmother are you? How greedy. You killed your granddaughter's mother. You're evil. You're evil. You are the spawn of Satan.
Get her, Mama.
And Satan is Billy Wagner.
Yes.
You are the evilest mother to help plan, carry out, and take the lives of 3 other mothers. My daughter was only 20, and you want 30 years of your life behind bars. 30? She was 20! 20! She never even got to try alcohol. She got 6 months of her life with her kids. 6 months. And Hannah Mae Roden, the love of your life, Jake Wagner, the love of your life, your daughter's mother, she got 4 days. Kylie Roden got 4 days. Do you know what kind of questions I have to answer? First, it was bad people came in. Next, they see your faces on the news. So guess what? I had to explain more. Because they're not little kids no more. They're not 6 months old. They're not 4 days old. Ruger's soon to be 10. 10 years he's been without a daddy. They're teaching him how to fish. They're teaching him how to hunt. Teaching him all the man things. He has to depend on uncles, cousins. Because of you, Jake. Greedy Jake Wagner. You. I want you to suffer. This is what I want. And I've told all BCI. I want your mother to live and you boys to die as well as your dad. I want you to die so your mom feels the heartache of what it's like to bury the child. It's a heartache that never goes away. I hate you. You ruined my life. You ruined innocent children's lives. I hope you die. I pray every day you die. I pray your grandchildren and your children never want anything to do with you. And I hope they never do. I hope your daughter hates you with a passion and as much heart as I hate you, Jake Wagner. You shook my hand. My daughter 5 times in the head. 5 times? Man, why her son laid between them. And Hannah Mae, she's holding her little girl. And you shot her. How cold and evil. You are a spawn of Satan. I'll say it again. Spawns of Satan, you and your brother. And you, evilness, created them. And Miss Rita, I feel so sorry for you because I know you're ashamed to have such a daughter and grandsons that evil. Because you was the first to feel the guilt and say you were sorry, and it was your Christian duty to tell the truth. So I have not very many words for you. My heart breaks for you to have such an evil, control, and response of Satan.
Amen. Good. Wow. That was from the Polk County murders, the mother of one of the victims. So I just happened to see that come up right, and I was going to get off of here, so I wanted to just see what that was. Yeah, it's heart-wrenching. I know, right? See something, say something. Well, guys, I'm going to go. I've got to use the bathroom. I have a reading. I have private reading I need to do here in a little bit and figure out something for dinner. I might be back later about something else. You never know. So I'll talk to you guys later.